Welcome everyone to Authoritative Selling Podcast, where we bring industry-specific sales insights for sales professionals and sales leaders from none other than industry stalwarts and seasoned professionals. So, join me in welcoming Mr. Arpit Pareek, our distinguished guest for today. Arpit Pareek, a stalwart in the edtech realm, celebrated for his extensive careers marked by transformative leadership. As a seasoned entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen, he has co-founded and spearheaded multiple ventures. Currently serving as the Vice President for Sales and Operations at Utkarsh Classes, Arpit's strategic vision and operational prowess are instrumental in shaping the educational industry. So let's join hands together and welcome Arpit Pareek. All right, so welcome Arpit, and thank you so much for giving us your time today. And with, I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience. Tell a little bit about yourself, your previous stints, current organization, profile, and the solutions that you offer.
Hi, Amit. Thanks a lot for first of all having me here. And I've not have been in too many podcasts. So this is something which is new for me. Hopefully, I'll be able to share some wisdom, some insights which will be useful for the audience as well. To share about me, I've done my graduation from IIT Bombay in 2013 from mechanical engineering. So from 2013 to now 2023, end of 2023, in the last 10 years, I've been in edtech only in various positions where it's sales, operations, marketing. So multiple different portfolios I've handled. Somewhere what I've seen is or I would say something which I've learned a lot is that when you have the complete idea of the whole user journey, you are able to be the best salesperson. You are able to understand how exactly the user is starting from the introduction of your brand till the success in their respective examination, specifically if I talk about that tech sector. So that is something which has helped me a lot. If I talk about my current profile, I'm currently working as a VP for Utkarsh Classes. I'm currently looking after both sales as well as operations. We are majorly concentrated in North India for all the government exam prep, as well as all other K-12 and entrance examinations as well. We have 12 million subscribers on our YouTube channel and multi-more million students on our Facebook and our mobile app as well.
That's fantastic, Arpit. So you have spent a lot of time in this industry, have an illustrious career to talk about. But before we deep dive into the insights that you're going to share with us today, I would like to know, what do you love about this industry that you have been in this industry, and what is that that you love about sales?
So see, basically, somewhere if I talk about sales, rather than sales, I actually started in this industry as an edtech player. Basically, I'm born and brought up in Kota. This is one of the biggest hub for education in India. So I joined as a faculty actually. I started teaching, but I saw that somewhere the students are not able to connect with the organization. The organizations are not able to connect with the student, and there was a big gap between the major USPs of an organization as well as what user wanted or the students wanted. And that's what prompted me to go into the marketing and sales. Marketing I did for some time, but sales was what I would say was the calling for me. If I'd say what I've loved about sales the most, it's majorly the satisfaction we get when both sides, from the organization side, when I actually onboard the customers, and from customer side, when I actually have that product which has actually fulfill their requirement, which is actually helping them out, when I actually provide them that particular product. So that's something which I've loved about sales or being in sales profile.
Absolutely. As they say, sales is service. What a noble thought. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So, Arpit, I'm quite curious because your industry, the edtech industry, it's ever evolving, highly innovative, and yet very competitive. Like you have so many players, it's like cutthroat competition. So give me an idea, like as you have been in both the places, you have been in sales and then you have been a business owner as well. So what are the major challenges that one face in this industry with respect to sales as a business owner as well as a salesperson?
So, as you said, this is something which is very innovative, very competitive, and very cutthroat, right? And the biggest issue is while the education industry or tech as a whole in India is big, very big, and booming at a very fast pace, the number of competitors are also, rapidly increasing. And what that does is it increases the customer acquisition cost. So what happens is there are so many students, still there are more and more number of products, and we have to differentiate ourselves from other competitors. Now that is both from the product side as well as sales side, right? So at same student, when let's say one of my customer care agent or sales agent is calling a student, we need to keep in mind that the same student is getting five other organizations call in the same day or maybe in a same week, right? And we need to make sure, while the product has to be very obviously better than the other competitors, I have to make sure my salesperson is also much better than the rest. They will have to The student will be making decision based on what my salesperson says. And
Mm.
that's why when I actually talk to the multiple training sessions I gave, or multiple times I talk to my sales team, so one thing I always tell them: don't consider yourself as salesperson, consider yourself as counselors. The idea is quite clear: don't sell the product, don't start like, don't go okay, like I'm calling from this organization and this is our product and so on and so forth. The idea is to first counsel the student, become their friend, become their mentor.
Mhm.
But obviously, in sales, a very standard idea is to understand the customer need, understand what they require. But even more better is what I try to teach my team is understand what they require and help them out without pitching your product. Help them out. Let's say they want particular exam. So what is the requirement for that particular exam? What is the eligibility? What are the cutoff rates? What is the previous success stories? What is required for that exam? What is not required? How the study should be done? And so on and so forth. Become a friend for them. And then when the student is actually asking you, Getcha, thanks for all this information, but I still don't know how to prepare. I still don't have that study material. I still don't have the faculty. So that's when you pitch in with your product. That's when you come in. Okay, now that you are ready for the preparation, now that you understand this examination and the requirement for this examination, this is what you require. This is the product. This is the offer. These are the USPs, and this is how we are better than the competition. And that's when suddenly, rather than sales, this guy is actually thanking you for calling him, rather than actually telling me ki, I'm not available, call me later, or I don't have time for you.
Absolutely, and I totally agree with you on that because, as you mentioned, like five other competition are calling, which are direct competition. Then there are indirect competition that are calling the same students. So how
100%.
do you stand out when everybody tries to sell? So is that has been your secret sauce for being so successful in sales, or give me an idea like what are your top sales strategies or techniques that have always helped you other than being helpful or being consultative or being a counselor? What are the techniques that have really stood out for you?
Here you are going to share with our competitors. Anyway, so let me tell you something. See, obviously, nobody, neither me or not the best salesperson in the world, can sell a bad product, right? So obviously, one major requirement is your product has to be good. Your product has to be able to solve the students or whatever your customer wants.
Mhm.
But other than that, one particular thing is how authentic you are when you are talking to the students. There are so many players, if specifically in tech, who have done exceptional sales by making false claims, right? They have claimed, like, let me give you a very simple example. They claim that our faculty is available 24/7, which is obviously false, right? But at that one junction, they are able to sell some products. At that month, they are doing superb sale. But what it does is later on or in the longer run, it actually does that bad publicity, bad word of mouth, that you are going down and down from that particular time. So one thing which is very important, which I really work with my team, is that be authentic about what you are selling. Do not just to do the sale, don't oversell, do not claim which we are not going to provide, do not provide them a picture of Taj Mahal when we are actually not selling that. So that is something which we need to take care of. We need to be very clear, and rather than that, be deliver 110%, claim that this is what we'll provide, then provide something additional. In India, if I specifically talk about, when you go and buy vegetables in a market, वो जो धनिया extra मिलता है, that is something which really makes them your customer. So if you provide them, they will go out in the market and bring in more and more customers. That is one thing. And second is obviously on backend. This is from customer side. On backend, being as I would say as aligned with your team for the follow-ups, for the customer journey, for documenting each and everything, following the deadlines as much as possible, following the targets as much possible. So the more obedient or more aligned with you, with your targets, with your process, the better your sales conversions will be. So you need to define those processes for your team and then follow these processes as rigorously, as religiously as possible. So that will always help you out.
Stunning. Thank you for sharing those insights. Now, one something that really attracted me is you said one thing which is very interesting, which happens a lot in this industry is being transparent,
Yeah.
right? Now, second thing you mentioned is it's a lot of it involves a lot of pressure also. So
Yes.
now you being in these situations, you have seen it a lot, you have done it a lot of times. I want to ask you one personal question here. Like, how do you manage pressure? Because in sales, there is pressure. When there are targets, there are pressures, and people have to take that pressure. So, what is your advice would be to salespeople how to manage that pressure, if I may ask? How do you manage pressure?
Correct. So there are two part of it. I would say one thing. One is, as you said, if my managers or if my business, basically business people will give me unrealistic targets, or if I accept those, there will always be pressure, right? If let's say I'm doing X this month and they come and tell me do 5X next month, that is obviously unrealistic. And if I say yes, sir, I'll do this, then I'm automatically inviting pressure on myself. And what will happen is I'll give that 5X target to my team, and again my team will be in pressure. So that is something which we need to stand up as a manager, that if my business owner is coming up and saying, yeah, you need to do 5x, we need to be very realistic. Like, sir, we were doing X, we have a new product, we have this is the realistic number which we can target. So that obviously it has to be ambitious, it will have to be aggressive, but it cannot be unrealistic, number one. So we need to make sure that we have ambitions, but we are not putting ourselves under undue pressure, number one. Now, secondly, let's say I have X this month and I'm targeting 2X next month, which is again quite difficult, which is again putting my team under pressure. But this is somewhere I need to, bring up my team members, and I need to connect with them that why we can achieve 2X. See, I can just go and tell them, "Okay, we did X and next month we have to do 2X." They'll be under immense pressure. But if I go and tell them why we'll be able to 2X, like this is a new product, these are the USPs, these are the new audience which we have captured, the marketing team has done this and that, because of that so many new audience have come in our channels. If I talk about the YouTube channel or the app or so on, have grown this X. If I tell them, yeah, मेरी app में 3x users have joined in, so then it makes it much easier for them to achieve that target. They have to understand that that 2x is very much achievable even with the efforts which they have put in last month. They just will have more audience, they will have better conversions, or automatically will achieve that 2x. So this is something which will help them out, obviously. Other than that, obviously, see, there are few cases, some particular person in a team itself, somebody might be doing very well, somebody might be overachieving the target, but others are not able to achieve. So those are have to be handled case on case basis, like why exactly. There might be somebody who is having family issues, somebody might have some personal issues, whatever, xyz, health issues or something. So for these cases, somebody might not be able to understand the products better, they require training and so on and so forth. So for those cases, we have to identify individual basis and have to take care of an individual basis. But on team level, we need to not just give targets, make them understand how that target number have been, come up with. How, why do we have that particular target, and how exactly we identify that these will be the, you can say, lever which will actually help us achieve that particular target.
Absolutely spot on. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure.
Now, in all this, you have absolutely a lot of experience working in different situations, like managing the teams and then meeting the targets, then guiding your team, as well as dealing with the customers also. So I would like to know, Arpit, and this is going to be an interesting question for you also. Like,
Tell
can
me.
you share a memorable success story or a specific deal that you remember where things were not looking very good and you tried something innovative, something, a little out of the box approach, and then it really gave a very significant boost to the deal or the results. Do you remember anything on top of your head, like that you can share with our audience?
Usually, see, what happens is something like that happens more in a B2B or B2B2C deals. I
Mhm.
have been majorly, like almost all my life, I have been in B2C only. So where there are thousands and thousands of millions, up to some extent millions of customers. So there are not any individual stories I would be able to share, I would say.
Mhm.
But what I will be able to share is ki where we have actually achieved those particular or some targets, where which we have, at the start of the month, we have seen that these targets are even not even, we are not even able to imagine that we can achieve these particular targets, and we have actually done that. Uh, whenever we have done that, there has been one particular thing which has been very important. We have, first of all, before we achieve the target, we have to believe that we can achieve these targets. Right.
Mhm.
So when you say ki where I have, myself personally have experienced that or personally have been in such a spot, is when, as I was saying in the previous answer as well, when we have had very aggressive targets, the first thing I've always done is made my team believe that these are achievable, made them believe that this is actually even less than what we can actually achieve. This is 30 days ka target hai, but we'll be able to achieve in 20 days, 25 days only, right? So how that happens, they, first of all, our audience, audience will see obviously the product, but before that our sales team have to see the product. In specifically in tech, I've seen it so many times. There are people who are working in a particular organization for 2 years. They themselves have not used the product. They themselves do not even have opened the app. They have not even gone through the app or the course or whatever the particular tech company is selling. So the first thing I usually did in some similar situation, when we have a new product, I've asked the team, download the app, install this particular product, or install or download this particular product, and from the backend team got them, all of them, access for that particular product, the premium access for that particular product. Ask them to use it for a couple of days, go through it, and have that believe in yourself that this will sell. This is something which everybody wants, and this is the, this is going to rule the market. So once they have that belief, once they understand the product, and then they have believed in that particular product, they all come out on the next day or next day with all the enthusiasm, all the energy that will achieve that target in 20-25 days. And multiple times we have done that.
Stunning. So, believing in your product and then chasing it with the right goals and achieving it, and not going after unrealistic targets which are not possible, is some of the secret recipes that we got from you today.
Sure.
Now, one last thing, Arpit, since you have been sharing such wonderful insights and experiences, what would be your advice to someone who is newly entering into this industry as a salesperson or wants to be a successful salesperson? I know that you have mentioned a couple of things that should be very useful for people who are already working in this industry, but someone who is newly joining in to be very successful as a fresher, what would be your advice?
So, as a fresher, one thing which I've observed many times, which I really don't like, is somebody coming in a system who has not done sales or who has no idea of that particular product. And obviously, in every company, there is a training, and maybe 7 days, maybe 30 days, maybe a 2 months, depending upon the product and everything. I've seen the new, freshers not paying enough attention during the training period. I've seen them being overconfident. I've seen them कि यार ये तो मैं कर ही लूंगा. See, many people from outside think sales में क्या है, कॉल करना है, बात करना है, उनको बोलना है सर ये प्रोडक्ट है खरीद लीजिए. So this is kind of attitude which leads you nowhere, right? When there is a training module, each and every company has defined and devised that training module based on their past experience. This is something as a fresher which will help you out in the next 6 months on 1 year period. So that 1 month or 2 month or 7 days or whatever the training period time may be is the most important time you will have as a salesperson. So pay as much attention as possible. You might actually think back to your school days. You actually be a very obedient student, listen to what your trainer is saying, make notes, go home, do homework. If they're asking you to go through some material, go through that. They're asking you to do some task, they're asking you to sit in front of a this is something which happens. They might have asked you to go and sit in front of a mirror and try a sales, but nobody go back home and does that. They find it silly, they find it this is not going to be useful, this might not change them. But this has been proven, this is something which they've been doing for so long period of time, and all of the leader has gone through that, and that's why they have become the leaders. So if you are not paying attention, if you are not going through all of that, you will not end up with being a successful salesperson. So this will be really helpful for them, or especially for the freshers.
Absolutely. No, you rightly pointed it out. One of the things, like being a corporate training company, when we train the organizations, train salespeople, one of the things that we find is they don't even have the sales pitch. And they don't, even if they have a sales pitch that has been either given by a training organization or given by the organizations internally by their managers, they don't even remember the sales pitch. They're always working out of the sales pitch, and every time there is a new script that they use, which is created by themselves, on their own, which keeps changing. So it's like they're not practiced it, they have not used it. So rightly said. Thank you so much, Arpit. It has been a wonderful experience talking to you, and the insights that you have shared today. I'm sure our audience will really benefit a lot from it. So, thank you
Thank
so much. And it was a sheer pleasure having you on this podcast. And we look forward to having you again as soon as possible.
thanks.
Till then, we wish you all the success and all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much and
Thanks a
have a
lot.
wonderful
Thanks
day.
for having me here. Hopefully, I'll be back here soon. And thanks
We
again.
look forward to that. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you and
Have a
have a
good day.
wonderful
Bye
day.
bye.